I'm sure like many British families, you are going through tons and tons and tons of those every year, but there is actually plenty of use for it in the garden. And I'm going to show you a few ways that I actually use them. First thing first, before we get to it, couple of mention. The first one is, well, you can't see it on the video here, but I've finally installed a light in here. So you probably see this shiny glow in my hair. And the second mention is about this table here. So I have made, this is made out of pallet wood, by the way. This is just 4 boards, and I've kept the excess to screw at the back, and it sit right here. Obviously at one point, once the shelves are gone and I've got the plants growing in here, it's not going to be working anymore in here. But until then, this is when I need it. Is, see, for example, if I put it right here, you're not going to see it obviously if I do that, but I'm working in here, and that means I can put the plants right on the shelf. I'll be very honest, I stole the idea from Eli and Kate. I was eyeing this for a while, and I thought, a while ago I've seen this and I thought I need to make one myself. So I eventually decided I'm going to go ahead and make one. So I've done that yesterday, and I had a phone call last night from Eli and Kate's lawyer asking me for royalties over this. So yeah, thanks very much. But joke aside, that's not actually true. I did show it to Eli yesterday saying, look, I'm super proud of myself, but I kind of stole the idea from you. So we had a bit of a laugh about this one. Anyway, let's crack on. So we've got those bottles. There's plenty that can be done with these. I've already shown the wee scoop that I'm using, so I'm going to show that again in here so you see how it's done properly, because I've just shown how I'm using it. But the scoop is definitely one of my favorite. There's obviously a very basic use, which I'm not going to go over too much. If you drill some holes at the top, you've got a watering can. As simple as that. The more holes, the more water you get. So if you just do one hole or a small hole in the top and then just pour it down like that, then you've got something to water seedlings. If you make multiple holes or bigger holes, then you've got something to water more mature plants. The good thing that what I like with this is that you can hold it quite well. You know, you've got, obviously I use this one as well, which is great. It works really well. You pour it over like that and it's fine. It just gets blocked really easily. I had to buy it, extra plastic that I've got to buy as well, which is not great. But also when the bottle is full and you're holding it like that, and you've got to, like, let's say I've got to water over there and I've got to stretch like this, then the bottle tends to slide. Then if I've got something like this, I can easily hold it and I've got a good grip to it. So this is the first and the most obvious use, I suppose, if I can say so. So the first one that I would like to show you is, it's a bit of a greenhouse type of thing. So you can use it as a wee cold frame, and it's very, very simple. So I've got, should have showed the tools actually. You've got a Stanley knife, you've got scissors, which are going to be fun for a left-handed because they are not great, those ones, and just a Sharpie just to mark it off. So the first thing that I want to show you is, so where the label usually sits, you've got this recess, and if you just take the line underneath, like right under this, all the way along, I'm going to show you writing on, but this one definitely doesn't need to be written on, and you just follow this line all the way along, and you stop on this last section here. Take your Stanley knife, just be really, really careful with that. It's just to start a bit of a hole to it. There we go, and then we'll take the scissors, just because it's a bit safer. It's not as neat, but it's a lot safer. And if you cut literally right along the line here to this, then you bend it over just like this and make a nice crease to it. There we go, just like that. Then that's you literally have a cold frame. Probably best to drill some holes at the bottom or make some holes with a knife or with a thick needle. make holes, plant in there, fold this over. It's not going to hold on its own, so you might need to put a bit of tape or something like that just to hold it properly in place, right? But this will keep most of the heat inside. And what you can also do, if you use that, like you could potentially use that outside as well, is if you open the lid, then obviously you let air circulate, but also you can let some rain water the plant for you and just basically close it at night time, right? So this is one very, very basic use. Now, and again, I'm going to take the pen just so you can follow along the line with me. And I'm going to continue this line. But you basically just cut all the way around. And now we have a pot. And we have a lid, like a wee cloche. Let's say we've got a small plant slide in. I can put this over the top and it's going to keep it. Can put that outside as well. And again, same idea. You can open the lid to let the water in and to let some air flow. Now, if you don't need to fill up that much in here, well, if it's just for seedlings or something like that, then you draw your line. And again, this is the bottom part of where the label is. If I show you this way, see there's this lip where the label sits. Well, just draw a line right over the top and you can just cut along there. So what I will do is I will cut right here and I will tell you why in a sec, because I'm going to reuse the rest of this. So I'll put those to the side. And now we have a very small, shallow tray, which is great. Well, if you've got microgreens, that's a good way to do your microgreens. And again, you can absolutely put this as a lid on top if you want to keep the heat a bit inside. Remember, drill holes at the bottom, but it also is a great way to do some sowing, very shallow trays like that. We've got this long stretch here. So the best way with this long stretch bit is to make labels. And in this case, it's just cutting strips. Simple as that. I'll cut a couple just to show you. Okay. If you don't need them all, you can either cut them all in one go, or you can just cut what you need. And you've got yourself some handy plant label. Then you can then use to put in your plants. Right, another use for it, and I'm going to take a new bottle to show you this bit, is a bit of a dustpan. So again, looking at that line here at the bottom, this wee lip, this is a slightly stronger point than the rest, so you want to incorporate this. And we'll take it from basically the corner here, I don't know if you can see properly, but where it folds under here, and we'll draw a line from here to there just after that wee lip, just at an angle like this. And then we will draw a line all the way, remember the top, not the bottom, to the top here, and same way from here to here, and draw a line this way. Once you've got this, it's just a case of joining the two over the bumpy bits. So I'm saying you don't always have to write on it. Okay, and we've got something that looks kind of like this. It doesn't need to be super precise either. Right, so again, same thing, just careful with yourself, and we will just I'll show you in a sec the reason I've cut this bit off. So again, this can be used for labels, so don't throw this away. Keep it, make some labels. The reason I've cut it like that, obviously we're not going to keep this, but if I was cutting right across, then this bit potentially is wasted. But at this point, and again, I'm going to write on it so you get to see where I'm heading with this, and it's wet, so it's not going to mark properly, but that's fine. You can kind of see where I'm heading. Is rather than throwing this bit away, and you've got another small tray, and then you've got that wee scoop, which is really handy if I find my compost. There we go. If I find my compost, you can see that it takes a lot and a lot and a lot of compost. Right, on to our third bottle, and this is the one that I'm sure you've been waiting for. So I'm going to show you the scoop, and this is one that I absolutely love and I've been using for years now. This is a really handy scoop. So I mentioned this one in the white flower video. I think I may have mentioned it in other ones as well, but definitely in the white flower video you see me using that scoop. What I like was this one. Is I use it mostly for when I'm seed saving, when I'm collecting my seeds. I will use that just to put in that wee scoop. I'll show you in a minute once it's done, but in that scoop I put my seeds, and then I use the spout to pour and use as a funnel basically to pour inside my packet. What you want is right at the elbow right here. So we'll cut just a bit before the elbow. Okay, it's just literally right round. This one is a bit trickier because it's quite a stiff bit of plastic, but just mark it right around like this. Okay, from here you will do a line like right in the elbow again, and here, right there, like this, and this will join all the way to the end, and again stop after that lip. Use that to make it a bit stiffer, and it's just a case of marking a line as straight as you can, which is not easy when you're a lefty and you're trying to get people to see what you're doing. There we go. What you want is a bit of overlapping. You don't want this to be flat. Obviously you want some wee edges, and then just after that lip you rejoin the two ends just like that, and you have a really handy scoop. So to do this, I'm just going to cut again the same way. We'll do a hole big enough to fit the knife, or to fit the scissors, sorry, and this bit we will cut it like this. It's, as I mentioned, a bit stiffer. This blade is probably done at this point, so be super careful. Try to keep your fingers away at all time. You know, it's just very, very dangerous, and you try to give it a cut. It's pretty much cut right through, so I should be able to get it. This last bit was the scissors. There you go. And then in here, same thing, we'll cut along the lines. There we go. So unfortunately this bit will be going in the bin, but it's very minimal. Literally the rest will be used, and this is literally the only thing that's going to end up in the bin, this tiny bit of plastic. So it's not too bad, I suppose. Now we're left with this bit of the bottle, which I'm trying to dry a bit. There we go. Drain a bit at least. So with this we are going to make yet again another planter, and this one will be a bit more of a trough. So we'll take just in line with, so if you can see here, the top and this bit here are aligned, so I'll just take it along here, right here, and just basically draw a line all the way around. Right, again that gives you a bit of plastic waste, but again I suppose you could always cut some labels out of this. You can probably do another, I would say, if you cut this bit off and that bit off, I would probably be able to make, yeah, 4 plant label out of this. So there's another 4 labels. If I stretch, I can reuse the bit here. Those bits that I was taking off from these two and the bit from here, I've cut them off camera into plant labels, so that gives me, I'm not going to count them, but it gives me a ton of plant labels. This is 3 full bottle. All right, so from the scoop to the handy dustpan, couple of seed trays, a cloche, loads of labels, and a tub. And if I take all this and put it all the way just now, I will show you exactly how much waste I have produced. And oh, this one came to plant itself. And I mean, let's be honest, if I wanted to stretch it, I just made some plant labels which are rectangular, but realistically those two would do. Oh, in fact, let's not forget the one that I've put in the geraniums here, which is also another one. I can absolutely use these as a plant label as well, as just I'm stretching it to something that's convenient in terms of size and to store, but those two triangular pieces are still good to use. So we've got exactly this much waste from 3 bottles. I mean, that's not bad. I hate the amount of plastic that goes in a bin in a regular week, a regular month, a regular year, and I'm always trying to reduce all this kind of waste. So this Eli and Kate patented table that I've made entirely out of wood from a pallet that I've broken down a week or so ago, which didn't cost me anything. I must be honest, I have used screws which I had left from a previous project, but I've also been keeping the nails which are in decent enough condition, which I could have very much used to nail them back together and just bend them at the bottom, but I made it at the easiest for me yesterday, so I've used some screws. But you can absolutely use the nails. If you manage to save the nails from your palette, it literally cost nothing at all. The only thing it took is a handsaw, obviously a pencil to mark the lines, a handsaw, and I've used the sander, but just regular sandpaper just to smooth it up, and that was done for £0. If you're interested in this one, let me know. I can easily show you how to make one that will fit inside your greenhouse or your space. But in the meantime, if you like this video, I would really appreciate if you give it a thumb up, and if you consider subscribing to the channel, make sure to tick the bell if you do so you know when the next video is about. And until the next time, folks, thank you for watching. Happy gardening. Bye.